We're back at it, live, in the here and in the now, at the coffee shop, taking an overnight bus from southern Vietnam to the north, and have arrived here in Da Nang, Vietnam, early in the morning. And not possible to check into the hotel for a number of hours. So this is the great time, the great chance to practice mindfulness and detachment together, to share the path, to share life, to share the body and mind, hopefully to share the dharma. The Dharma, sharing the Dharma is considered the highest generosity, the greatest gift that one can give, that one can receive, is the gift of the Dharma. And what is the Dharma? Well, I guess it is the teachings of the Buddha, or the teaching of awareness leading to the ending of suffering. So I wouldn't say that that's what I teach or what I share, because I think that would be ridiculous, but that's certainly my intention and my aspiration, is to share the Dharma and to share the greatest gift possible, to help people not just psychologically deal with their problems or manage their lives, but to end suffering. I've been feeling in myself and with myself recently more presence, just more awareness of the negative or unwholesome states coming up. You know, I feel I notice when I'm annoyed, I notice when I'm agitated, I notice when I'm frustrated, I notice when I'm getting lost in thought, I notice when I'm getting greedy. And greediness can also be stinginess, something to be aware of, you know, overly trying to keep and to hold and to, you know, we don't give enough. We don't give a lot. We just give a little, even to ourselves. So I'm noticing that and feeling more flexible, more able to be with that and deal with that in a realistic and practical way. So I'm feeling good. You know, this kind of moment, this kind of situation, it's a once in a lifetime, isn't it? You know, in the whole universe. What is this? This is like a Mario fox or something. In the whole universe, in all of time, in all of human history, in my entire life, you know, look from my own lens, in my entire life, there's never been a moment like this. And I would dare to say that for you, in your entire life, there's never been a moment like this. So that this moment is completely new, completely unique, completely fresh. And whether you're a naughty one or a good one, there's still this blackjack of life. And you might be a troll, you might be a sincere practitioner, but everybody wants to hit 21. And this is about hitting 21. This is about getting bingo. This is about getting that big W. So everybody is welcome here who wants to get a big W. The biggest W of ending suffering. Who wrote that book? I have no idea. I was really a monk. I was really a monk for 7 years. But now I'm just a lay practitioner, and I'm not a monk anymore. But the heart of being a monk is still alive in me, and the heart of being a monk is this heart, this aspiration, this intention to end suffering. And this ending suffering is like a clarity without seeking, a clarity without struggle, a peaceful awareness that is unconditional. It's not unconditional because you're like floating in space or you've dissolved your body or dissolved the mind, but it's unconditional in the way that it already is. So that it's a peace that is not about things happening. It's a peace that's not about things happening or things not happening. It's a full peace. So, I'll make a short video here. One of the biggest things we need to work on is not believing in our thoughts. When you're following the teachings of Buddha, when you're practicing your meditation, when you're practicing dana, sila, bhavana, samadhi, panya, give it your all. But when you're going around and making like absolutist judgments about who people are and what they're doing and what their intentions are, you may in fact just be hitting yourself in your own confusion.
Amrita Garve, Amrita Siddhe, Amrita Teye, Amrita Vikrante, Amrita Vikranta, Kamine, Amrita Gagana, Kirtikare, Amrita Rundugi Sware, Sarvata Sadane, Sarvakarma Krisha, Shayam Kare, Soha Om Rum Om. Namo Rakshaya, Namo Arya.
You know, I mean, what are we supposed to do? And what I come up with is to be at peace. We are supposed to, we should be at peace. And we should work to help others, work to help each other. It seems to me that there's nothing more profound, more simple and accessible than that. And everything else that we do, or we should do, or we could do, etc., I think should be built on that. It's not about being a perfect person, but that we should have a relationship with just being at peace in all kinds of, you know, I mean, eventually there can be a lot of pain, there can be a lot of sickness, etc. So being at peace with that is hard work. But we should endeavor to be at peace and help others. And from that, we build on that, whatever it is that we build. And it's not, there's no need in that to be a perfect person. There's no need in that to act a perfect way or a certain way. But I think when we don't have that proper direction, that proper approach, that proper supposed to, about being at peace and helping others, then we're completely discombobulated in everything else that we do. You know? And to really establish ourselves in that, to take that very, very seriously. So there's recently a monk, I don't know if you know him, Lama Choga. He's a Canadian Tibetan monk, and he recently, he recently chose to disrobe. He actually disrobed live on his YouTube channel. And, he was just sharing that he's maintaining and continuing that spirit, that monastic spirit and aspiration, but also that there's not living in the West and being a monk on his own, and being in this situation where he didn't really have cultural support. If anything, it was anti-cultural support, because people would see him and wearing the robes, and you see him as kind of a weirdo. And so we're going to feel weird sometimes. We're going to be seen as weird sometimes by other people. We're going to go through suffering. So the path of enlightenment or freedom from suffering is not about feeling comfortable all the time, or everything going according to our thoughts about how things should be or how we think things are. It's more so than anything learning to drop our perceptions and actually make use of what is available without attachments, without attaching. So when we don't have a real practical relationship with peace, we're always going around and complaining, trying to control, trying to force our position of authority out into the world. When we're attached to what appears, we are turned around by what appears. When we are detached or not getting caught up in attachment with appearances, we are turning the wheel of appearances to make use of them. To benefit others, to benefit ourselves, in being at peace and helping others, not in being lost in complicated thinking. And a lot of people in the world, whether they have good or bad intentions, we can't say for sure, because that's always up to people's opinions from time to time or moment to moment. What I see as a bad intention, you will see as a good intention, and vice versa. So we have to develop the power to be intentionless. That's real peace. And then we can see more clearly reality without our biases, without our preconceived notions about what's happening right now. Life is meant to be a meditation. If you're someone who's taking the dharma seriously, you're taking the path seriously, you're taking spirituality seriously, life is meant to be a meditation. And if you're informed by the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, you have to really step back from your own ego. You have to step back from I and everything that holds I up. It's a difficult mission, difficult work, but very worthwhile. We have to be willing to feel weird. We have to be willing to feel uncomfortable. We have to be willing to try to practice generosity, to try to practice giving in all kinds of different circumstances and situations, regardless of how it may affect us or may affect others. We just try to give. We just try to share. We just try to be a good person. But you cannot believe what you think. You cannot believe what you hear. You cannot believe what you see. You cannot believe what you smell. Buddhism is not about believing in things. It's not about believing in stories of yourself or stories of other people. The story of the Buddha is all about finding out there is no self. There is no someone, something, some place, some time, some situation, some story to believe in. The practice of Buddhism is really the practice of non-belief. Now we have to have faith, but faith isn't really believing in things. Faith is more like an experiential trust in the way that things are. And it's such a shame. People are so ready to be aggressive, but they're ready to be aggressive in a way where they're guaranteed to win. They're ready to be aggressive in a way where they are not going to have to let go. Generosity dissolves aggression. When we interact from a place of giving, from a place of openness, from a place of sharing, where's the place for aggression? What happened, the same thing that happened to my great-great-great-great-great-grandpa and grandma is the same thing that happened to my Discord server. It's called impermanence. What happened to the tree in San Jose? Impermanence is happening to it. What happened to all the buffalo in North America? Impermanence happened. We have to stop looking for, this is the hardcore teaching. You better watch out. A lot of people can't take this. They can't receive this because this is the Dharma. This is the teaching. I share it in a particular way. Well, now look, I'm now saying this is the Dharma. But, I'm sharing this, this way now. But this is tough. This is not what you want. This is not what the ego wants. The sustained story of a complicated self-entity in a complicated environment. This is not that. This says, no way, Jose. Or no way, Chuk Mung Moy as well. There's no Happy New Year, there's no yesterday, there's no tomorrow, there's no nothing, etc. And there is an etc. here because it's an invitation. This is an invitation. It's not a fight, it's not a competition, it's not an argument. I'm not here to be right, I'm not here to be in control. There's facilitation going on. We're not going to have, somebody smear feces on their face and come in here and stink up the place, but everybody's welcome to come in and listen. If you're confused, don't be confused by being confused. If you're enlightened, don't be enlightened by being enlightened. Don't allow any conditions to prop up or hold up the continuation of I. Allow all conditionality, allow all etc., etc., etc. Allow whatever is being seen, heard, felt, experienced right now to be free from I. To be free from the narrative of a person that's experiencing this. This is the same this is kind of the same way. It's not easy for me to get donations or to receive support or to build up an infrastructure of followers or classes or promote my YouTube channel and the short videos that I do. Because this is really nothing. You know, this is walking out to the beach later and getting into the ocean. And you either have to have faith or you have to have an experience of this non-self to empathize with this perspective or this way. You may not have that experience, but you can have faith. Yeah, it does seem to be that way. Everything does seem to be impermanent. Everything does seem to be interconnected in a way where there's no possibility for separate things to exist. So, for example, this One Piece chapter 65 appears to be separate from One Piece chapter 66. But without One Piece chapter 65, there is no One Piece chapter 66, and vice versa. Now we might say, well, this one came first, right? 65 came first, so there couldn't be a 66 without a 65, but there could be a 65 without there being a 66. But that's in accordance with your thoughts about things, not reality. This and that inter-are, and they inter-are so deeply that there is no this and there is no that. We're not riding on reputation here. We're not riding on the thoughts that we have about other people, whether those thoughts are good or bad or right or wrong, etc. You want to know what a bad reputation is? Come here and smell my rear end. That'll show you what a bad reputation is, okay? We don't go around saying mean things or weird things or nasty things to other people. We take responsibility for our own practice. We take responsibility for dana, sila, bhavana, samadhi, panya. We take responsibility for being on our own path. We don't pretend to be a hero protecting other people from things. So, you know, it's always a shame for me because to be challenged, hey, I'm waiting for somebody to come up and arm wrestle Rob. I'm waiting for somebody to come up and say, hey, I've been looking into you. I know who you actually are. Let's set up a Zoom meeting. Let's get to business. Let's talk about this. Let's engage about this. But there's a constant theme in people who come out in the way of aggression. And that is selfishness, incongruency of thought, and a lack of willingness to give. A lack of willingness to donate. A lack of willingness to make offerings. Oh, Rob, I mean, if you expect people who are coming here to say negative things about you and harass you to make donations to you, that's maybe a little bit unrealistic. We make donations when we share our heart. We share our experience. We share our authenticity, our sincerity, our depth. We don't just go and throw out insults or throw out random comments, go to disparage people. Hey, this person looks like an a-hole. We really show up and we really share. You know, there comes a time in all of our lives when we stop kind of skating on the surface of shallow ideas and thoughts that we have about other people, and we actually start to take responsibility for our own path, our own mind, and how we engage with the world. So if anyone actually wants to engage with me about who I am and my understanding of the Dharma and the path, I welcome you, I invite you, I'm here. But if we're just going around making thoughtless, baseless, negative claims because we've got our underwear messed, maybe we're actually not practicing in the right way, and we're just going through emotional dysregulation and discombobulation. So, anyways, here to help. Even the trolls have started to donate and support. Thank you, troll. You're very welcome. Welcome to be here. Welcome to give. But as the Buddha said, as the Buddha talked about, there's 3 guarantees in this life, and you're probably not going to like them. That is sickness, old age, and death. So as healthy as our ego can be, the ego is going to be subject to sickness. As healthy as the body can be, the body is going to be subject to sickness. As healthy as our youth can be, that's going to be subject to old age, to passing away. And so the path is not about convincing other people of if we're a great person or a wise person or etc. The path is about turning the mind around and actually facing the way that we already are here and now. So that's what I practice. And my sharing on YouTube, my sharing online is just an extension of that. I could care less what people think about me. And I'll try to care less about what people think about me. But it's, at the end of the day, it's not that important. It's a good point, Cheddar. Gratefulness, gratitude. I think there can be a real problem in some dharmic circles where we don't just not live up to the ideals that were set up by the Buddha in terms of how to act, how to live, how to be with others, but we don't even live up to basic human decency. So when I approach the world and when I interact with others, I try to do so from a place of generosity. I try to do so from a place of openness. And if I'm curious or I'm passionate or I feel like, for whatever reason, interested in engaging with or about this person, and they're standing right there in front of me, I take responsibility for that. I ask them questions, not with some kind of backwards intention or malice behind it to prove some point that's based on views and opinions that don't come from my direct experience. But I really try to step forward and learn and drop my own biases and communicate human to human. And I think it's really a shame how dharmic circles can be co-opted or covered up by this greed, anger, delusion, and a lot of negativity. So I welcome any questions, and I'm right here looking at you. So unsubscribe, friends. Unsubscribe from the ego narrative. Unsubscribe from the philosophy of a separate self-entity. Unsubscribe from the narrative of worthwhile grasping. Unsubscribe from the notion of something existing permanently to argue about, to control, to understand. Everything is impermanent. There is no such thing as a separate self. I'm not separate from you. You're not separate from the environment that you're in right now. Thoughts are just thoughts, like clouds, like steam, like smoke. And our practice is not to grasp at the clouds and try to make balloon animals out of clouds. It's actually to use the clouds as a reminder to stop and see through appearances. That is the practice, that is the work. And if you want to act out, if you want to take on the authoritative position of an ego, be kind, be compassionate, be gentle, be mindful, be contemplative, be forgiving, follow the teachings of the Buddha. And it's such a shame that so many spiritual environments and circles just get into this disassociated, disengaged, kind of consuming based way of appropriating the Dharma for their own ego. So this is not about the ego. This is about no ego. This is about no ego allowed. And you take responsibility for your own actions. You're responsible for your own karma. You don't have to go around trying to make anyone else responsible for their karma. Everyone already is responsible for their own karma, selflessly and totally and completely. You know, I'm a little bit of an intense person, and when the opportunity is there, I wanna boom, 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 boom. I want to get to the business. I want to make as much use out of that opportunity as is possible. And if we have no, those haven't been stream clips, Luke. I was just making recordings while I was streaming. But before, I was just making the videos in the Discord. But, you know, that's my tendency. I see that this is like when people are interested, when people are pulled into something, whether they think it's good or it's bad or whatever, that curiosity, that interest, that engagement is something to just show up and make use of as much as we can. 1 hour, 2 hour, voice call, video call, everybody come together. Let's work with this, through this, according to the Dharma. But how isolated a lot of Western people are, and how little they are practicing generosity and making donations and volunteering, concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, etc. It just becomes this this kind of maggot, mold, pus, and all these things are fine, but bubble. And the moment that you say, hey, let's pop that bubble and make a big bowl of pus and blood and poop and pee and mold, etc., and let's whip that up into a cream and let's go to town and let's have a banana split party. People say, what are you talking about? We're here to talk about things. We're here to think thoughts. We're not here to engage. So I am here to engage. Whole heart, whole body, whole mind, everything. And the Dhamma is there to make sure that it all goes swimmingly. You know? Because the Dhamma is not just about feeling like you're laying in a bed of flowers with all of your friends. It's about, as I've said before, eating shit and drinking piss. Excuse my language. It's about facing suffering. It's about no mud, no lotus. So these muddy situations are fantastic opportunities to share and to be generous, not to be offhanded and you know, slighted in some ways. You get my drift here? People say, Rob, formerly known as Bante, look, man, you don't know the dharma, you're a scammer, you're a known bad guy, you're a known bad actor, you're the worst of the worst. And the last thing we need here is your kind. And you know what I say to those people that call me a scammer, and I was never a real monk, and I've always been a fraud, I always will be inherently a negative bad person? I tell them, look, there's no such thing as Rob. Let's start there. And if there was a Rob, if there is a Rob, how would Rob be your preconceived, shallow, vague, non-experiential thoughts about him? Why would that make any sense? And then start there. We start with a clean slate. And then we begin to work with our engagement according to our intentionality. It's clear you're interested. It's clear you're curious. It's clear you're being pulled towards something or someone, apparently, right? But what is your intention in going towards that? Because that's what's important. Not your narrative or your story or your vague idea or what you heard someone else say, etc., about this apparent person. So that works for me. That works for me. I understand that. Nobody. It's just crickets. It's just clapping. It's just sound. It's just to be used without attachment and to be let go. Not someone, not something, not some time, not some experience. And then we get these ideas, right? I'm the protector. Well, what are you protecting? Who are you protecting? People that I think about in my mind. What are you protecting them from? Thoughts that I have about someone in my mind. So this isn't about that. And protecting people is not about that. Protecting people is not about shallow, vague, vapid, negative or positive remarks about other people. That's not generosity. That's not engagement. We don't protect people from other people by leaving a comment. You're just leaving a comment, nobody personally. The worst accusation about me that I'm directing right now directly is that I'm someone. I'm not someone. And if you're a random person coming to my house and want to challenge me about something that you heard from someone else that you don't even know, that nobody knows, just an anonymous claim from an anonymous person that you came across, and now you're saying, what about this? I'll say, if you don't like my cooking, get out. The Dhamma cannot be damaged. The Buddha cannot be damaged. But we all make mistakes. It's not about being a perfect person in the world. It's not about dealing with an ego narrative that we have about someone else or about ourselves. It's about not being attached. It's about you taking responsibility here and now for practicing generosity, for following precepts, for cultivating bhavana. The Buddha doesn't teach anything about you going around and protecting other people from the thoughts that you have about other people. Actually, that's what you're not doing, right? So it can get very confusing. It can get very convoluted when we don't use our sword of wisdom to cut the narrative of a separate self-entity going around and doing things. And if we don't know how to cut that narrative, we can be very impractical in terms of how we engage and what we spend our time on and with. You can't understand the Dhamma through thinking. The Dhamma is to be seen and experienced and known for oneself. It's not a philosophy to believe in. It does seem that way, or it can seem that way. Let's take a few moments for meditative reflection, meditative inquiry into our direct experience rather than our thoughts about things for a moment. Yeah, this is a coffee shop. Like I said, I've been on an overnight bus. For about 12 hours. And just arrived in the morning here in Da Nang, but cannot check into the hotel for another few hours. And I didn't sleep on the bus, so I'm a little bit relaxing and being mindful here at the coffee shop. And this is like traditional Vietnamese woodworking. You can see the dragon. Just coffee. Just have a coffee this morning and some tea. So, defending oneself. The utmost practice, the recommended practice, is by Buddhist masters, or one Buddhist master in particular comes to mind, is don't defend yourself at all when people accuse you or bring negativity. These people love me. Because actually, there's not a self to defend. So in you defending yourself, you are propping up the notion of a self, and you shouldn't do that. Here, I'm trying to suffuse and intermingle the notion of a self that can be criticized with the reality of no self that is free of criticism, and also, pointing to people's intentions that are not particularly generous, that aren't in line with the Dhamma, and that's kind of a waste of energy. So it's a little bit difficult to do that, but the main point is, it's up to you what you think and what you want to be involved with. But for me, My main practice is to be involved with mindfulness and detachment that's not about someone, period. I don't care if it's me or someone else. Mindfulness and detachment that's not about someone, not about something, not about some place, not about some time, not about some situation. And this is, the place where I teach. And if you want to come here and accuse me of things, that's maybe not appropriate to come to a place where the Dharma is being taught and to do that, or to bring like just negative, baseless ideas or accusations. And thirdly, that the idea of protecting other people, or you doing like a service by letting other people know, hey, this isn't a good guy, this is a bad guy, is maybe something that should be done in your own neighborhood, or with the people that you know, or based on your own direct experiences with someone. And that would just mean it's more practical and more direct. There's some children. I have gold for them. Xin chào. I have gift for you. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, let me give you the gift. You in here, okay? This one of my very happy activities. Okay, come here. Now, do you know what this is? Oh, wow. What is your name?
Luna.
Luna? Oh, very good name. Here you go, Luna. And what's your name?
My name is B.
B. Not A, B.
B-I.
B. Oh, very good name. And for you also. Okay. Chúc mừng mới. Chúc mừng mới. Chúc mừng năm mới. Right, I was forgetting one. Yeah. And you're from Vietnam?
Yeah.
And you can speak English? You can say hello. This is my YouTube channel. You can say hello.
Hello. Yeah.
So I do a YouTube channel and I give the teaching for the meditation. Do you know about meditation? Really? You know. You follow Jesus. You follow Jesus or Buddha? Azira Phật? No. You don't know meditation? Okay, so meditation is kind of like the gold that you have inside of yourself. But you have to go and digging for it. You have to go and find it. So the way that we go to find it is we kind of, and this is what I teach here. We kind of like a sit down. You want to try? You can sit like this. Here, maybe come close. We can all get in here. Come. Yeah. So we all sit close, and then we can close our eyes or open, and then you focus the breathing. You really feel your breathing. So feel the breathing in the belly, or feel the breathing in the chest, or feel the breathing at the tip of your nose. You can feel. And then you don't think about anything. So you stop thinking about anything and just breathing in the tip of the nose. And then feel more concentrated, more breathing, tip of nose, and more relaxed. Very relaxed and not thinking anything. good. That's how you do it. And you can close your eyes or leave open or... How about you think? Are you thinking of anything? Do you have any thought in the mind? No thoughts, right? You thoughts? Voice inside your head? A little bit? So it's okay if you have the voice inside, it's okay, or if you have the thought, it's okay. But you just go beyond. You go beyond the thought. And it's kind of like going to sleep. You know, when you go to sleep at night, you really relax and you, right? But this is like going to sleep, but you aware. You're very awake and very aware and very relaxed. So where are you come from today? You come from North? I go soon, I go to Haiphong City. You know Haiphong? I go for teaching meditation and teaching English in Haiphong City. B and Lulu. Luna. Very good, very good. I'm from America. Do you have any question about America? About the foreigner? You know the blood is green color. Just a joke. Same blood, right? Red color. You know, blood inside. Yeah, blood inside. Well, it is a green color, isn't it? Green or blue color. At school, do you do arm wrestling? You play at school, arm wrestling? You know that here? Like this? Yeah. You do at school? You play at school? Okay, I want to help you to teach you to be better. Arm wrestling, okay? So here we go. Let's put here. Okay, so we can try like this. Or here, we can use one and two. So number one is you pulling. You know that? So you pull towards you. Pull. Huh. Yeah, pull as much as you can. And then the other is, you try. Okay, you try. Let me see. Okay, so one thing, use your whole body. So you put your whole body to go this way. Yeah, your whole body together with your arm. Very strong. And another thing is you can do this. Use this in your arm. You feel that muscle? Yeah, this muscle here. You want to use that muscle a lot so you can... Alright, you try. You get some exercise, work out. Okay, go ahead. Follow through, whole body. Good. Very good. Try left arm. Yeah, that's right. Your whole body, you put your whole body to like that and pull.
And also high. Get high so you can do more this. Okay, good. Now you try both hands. You can use both hands. So you this, and then use this hand too here. You try to. Okay, go. No, this way, yeah. Okay. Good job. Good job. Okay, B.
So
You have one comics, one piece.
I never study One Piece. I know about Naruto. And good folks, here's where all your donations are going, to the vials of gold that I carry around with me. You can add that to the list of concerns and complaints. So what we practice here is it's an embodied, it's a way of being. It's not something where we have this big, convoluted, complex philosophy of how we understand the dharma or reality. But it's a way of life. And it's a way of life that's not controlled by or manipulated by our ego. So our practice of generosity or self-sacrifice is like we are actively ready to go beyond our ego. We're actively ready to go beyond our own thoughts. And so generosity is the essence, the platform of the Buddhist path, because it is the exercise of having something that we're attached to and giving that away willingly. Not because we have to, not because we're going to get something back, but totally and unconditionally giving what we're attached to, what we hold on to, like our thoughts, like our possessions, like tension or stress in the body, giving that away. Can you understand all that? Some of it. No. Well, you know. So it's all about that embodiment. And the deeper, the more intense, or the more, I'm a real Dharma practitioner, I've got something to say about this, that practice and that work is totally personal. It has nothing to do with you being a protector of other people in the world about the right teachings or the wrong teachings. It has nothing to do with you sharing your opinion or your perspective or anything like that. It's totally internal work of you letting go of your own thoughts. So a lot of more developed people, spiritually, let's say, how they go about embodying that in the world is not that they act this particular way in this particular situation. They embody that through non-action, or they embody that through disengagement, the engagement of disengagement. So you won't find them on Reddit posts defending themselves or making arguments about other people or even trying to answer people's questions because they're too wise or selfish or personal. Here, I show you. I put it here. Too much focused on their Dhamma practice to actually be involved in that. You know what I mean? So, who doesn't want to defend themselves? But honestly, that's not the point of this whole shebang. Okay? You can watch anytime. You're very welcome.
Có nhỡ anh nhìn thấy chị ạ, trong linh một đó. Trong linh một đó. Bây giờ được 6. Wow. Đây là mình sẽ cùng người đã xây dựng rồi. Không được gì chứ. Em nghèo. Em còn phải có
So someone asked me recently. It was from a post that I made on Facebook, and they said, you know, what do you mean by the mind to mind thing? And it's a intimacy that's not about words or phrases. It's a direct mind to mind experience, right here and right now. Now, if there's some payment plan, if there's some subscribing plan, if there's some, something that I'm trying to get people here to buy into, well, then you can point that out and you can say, hey, this guy's a bum. Don't follow his teachings. But if you're coming here to just say, hey, I don't like this person and you shouldn't practice with that person, that's ridiculous. Telling other people that you don't know who they should practice with, complete beyond the pale big old ego that needs a good slap on the butt and a kick out the door, frankly. So you like One Piece? But there's some positive side to this as well, because these people do engage, even if it's only briefly. They do share their ignorance and attachment. They do reach out, and we should all aspire to that, to share our experience, to reach out, to connect. Because we're already here, but we need to practice reaching out more, sharing more, asking more of the deep questions. People are deeply problematic. That's the reality. Not just me, all people are deeply problematic. And it's okay for things to be problematic. We can still make use of them with mindfulness and detachment. Conscious breathing, 100%. You get caught up, you get overwhelmed, you get in over your head. You want to try this one? Good job, good job. Very good, very power, right? You start believing what I say, it does feel good, but it feels good in this sphere of mindfulness and detachment. Kundalini. We're getting the Kundalini going. Okay, Kundalini for free. Maybe that'll be the title of my next live stream. Free Kundalini. Donations accepted. I'm not much of a dancer, but we might get there sometime.
giúp cho anh em ngồi ra sau khi nói là anh em không hiểu, nhưng mà khi mà được giao nhiệm vụ là rất mình đã có sự thay đổi do bản thân em sự cố gắng để tự phát triển. Nên là đó cũng là một cái điểm chưa được, nhưng mà cũng là một cái điểm được, bởi vì quan trọng là anh em ngộ ra là cần phải bản thân mình cần phải là phát triển về động lực. Còn khi mà bản thân anh em mà chưa ngộ ra và chưa cảm nhận mình cần phải phát triển thì còn lâu mình cũng phát triển được, và nó sẽ liên tục duy trì như thế nào kết quả sẽ không thực sự là xuất phát. Cái thứ hai, cái việc trước sự kiện cũng chia sẻ về cái vấn đề trước sự kiện là thực ra là như chị đã chia sẻ là thực ra là mình chỉ có thể bám sát được những cái tầm tầm thôi, đôi khi những cái tầm xa đó mình thực sự là vẫn chưa để bám sát được hết, vẫn có thể là cho anh em những cái chung điểm là chưa đáp bắt đấy, nhưng mà nhiều anh em không tin vẫn còn là làm theo cách của mình và nghĩ theo cái cách của mình, nên là đôi khi có một vài đối tác đưa đến nhưng mà không, người ta vẫn chưa được giá trị, chưa cảm nhận được cái cơ hội khi nhận được giá trị, là bởi vì là cái cách người ta. Đây là cái mà giá trị việc là làm như thế nào để giúp cho những anh em của mình bám sát được những cái việc một mình cũng không thể bám sát được. Và cái trong sự kiện thì thực ra trong sự kiện nói về sự kiện thì ngày hôm nay sự kiện rất là tuyệt vời rồi, bởi vì nó có rất là nhiều cái điều đó mới sau cái sự kiện, nó sẽ có nhiều cái được phân tích ra là được và chưa được. Cái chưa được nó cũng lấy từ mình, bởi vì mình chưa bám sát, mình chưa bám sát được, chưa truyền dễ được với anh em, đâu anh em đi biết còn là chung nên làm cho đối tác và người ta đấy nó quá để giờ có nhiều người không lấy được, nó là một cái việc bám sát của mình, đâu đó làm cho cái phần trước của người
Blackjack.
nên là cái việc bám sát
In Vietnamese. All these books are in Vietnamese. You know, there's a classic Zen saying, you know, some great Zen character said this. They said, if you really know Zen, then even Winnie the Pooh can be a book on Zen teaching. So I was going to try to see if that was the case for me, but this is all in Vietnamese, so I think that's a stretch too far for me. Naruto, every sound is truth. But we do have the Kindle here, so we can listen. And neat, I'll be honest with you, that's also part of the reason I get frustrated, because sometimes people come out of the woodworks, you know, they come out of the saloon pulling their pistols out, and all I want to do is take those shots. All I want to do is receive that and walk towards them and give them a big hug and say, okay, you know, let's look at this together. Let's talk about that together. You know, let's talk about your idea about this. But oftentimes I just don't get the chance to do that. Because confrontation can be very, very useful, not just for both parties to come to a practice of non-confrontation, but also to people around, you know, to see that unpacking going on. All right, let's listen to some boring old Zen from Zen Master Mazu. Okay, let's listen to this boring old Zen teaching. The most direct approach. Maybe I put something on my head. Something like this. This would be good. Okay. Why don't you understand the essence that has always been there? There is not much to Buddhism. It only requires you to see the way clearly. It does not tell you to extinguish random thoughts and suppress body and mind, shutting your eyes and saying, "This is it." The matter is not like this. You must observe the present state. What is its logic? What is its guiding pattern? Why are you confused? This is the most direct approach. How about when I have not spoken to you, and you have not heard me? Is there any point in coming and going? At such a time, do not make up forced rationalizations. From Buddhas above to the totality of beings below, all is thus. In this sense, sages and ordinary people are equal. Wrong and right are equal. Samsara and nirvana are equal. Now I ask you, whose business are the ancient Buddhas and the generations of past, present, and future? Whose business are the contaminated lands of the 10 directions? So it's really saying, who are you and what are you doing here? Get off of your high horse of your opinion, your judgment, your forced rationalization about what's being experienced, and really look directly at your own mind. Who are you and what are you doing here? Don't make it into why, because that's really, there's too much explanation, there's too much variability in that. You can't really be responsible for why, but who and what, you can look at that directly here and now. I say, if you understand all this 30 years from now, you will realize that I did tell you. Just don't say, this is it. If you do, that is called the view of an outsider, because there is an alreadiness to this. That's part of the unique quality of the Buddha. The unique quality of the Buddha is that he awoken to, he realized what was already. He didn't go to another plane and get some kind of special transmission from some deity or God or some new way of looking at reality, but the Buddha recognized reality the way that it already is. These people love me. They love my teachings here. Can you all hear that clapping? This is from the. This is One Piece, I guess. Yeah, One Piece. This. Sunny. Sunny. Okay, another good, clear teaching here on independence. What do you people come to me for? Each individual should lead life autonomously. Don't listen to what other people say. What kind of life are we going to navigate when we don't listen to what other people say, period? To take up that is kind of radical, like being unobstructed, unconfused, unconvinced in the face of anything and everything, right? But we are like so primed to be convinced by the notion of a self and other people's opinions and views that we come across just random people, anonymous people that we don't know, saying random things that we know nothing about, and we immediately take that as a part of our belief system, and then we act from that as a part of our belief system, right? So how about don't listen to what other people say at all? Don't believe what others say. Maybe test it, put it into practice, experiment. An ancient one once declared, I knew how to lead life by the time I was 18. You people must learn to live independently. You say, lead what life? Just do not seek elsewhere. Very friendly kids here in Vietnam. You say, lead what life? Just do not seek elsewhere. So what is the true life? It's a life that is already right here and now. Do not seek your life. Do not seek reality somewhere else. Do not seek truth somewhere else outside of this direct experience here and now. Most people today are compulsively active. This is already not knowing how to lead life. So what that means is that we are in a constant state of action and reaction. We are compulsively non-stop being involved in all kinds of things all the time. And we don't know how to stop. We don't know how to step back. We don't know how to stabilize and simplify ourselves in peaceful awareness so that we can conserve energy and make choices based on what is most important or meaningful or relevant or practical for our aspirations and intentions. So this compulsive activity, not knowing how to lead life, this is called abandoning home, scattering the family, and becoming a drifter. So we are leaving our true home when we are compulsively active, compulsively thinking, compulsively reacting to stimuli. Step back and stop. No reaction. Doesn't matter how spicy it is. No reaction. Sometimes I'll take some gold, because gold's good for you, Just a little bit, just a few. Just a few. Oh, Boku no My Hero Academia. Yes. My Hero Academia. I'll think about it. I'll think about the One Piece. They're supposed to be recreating it, so that's when I might take a look into that. But I'm a very busy man. This is called abandoning home, scattering the family, and becoming a drifter. Clearly, this is not understanding, just searching and seeking, studying a bit of intellectual knowledge, memorizing a few sayings. It's called hauling manure inside. When you get here, your actions have to be truly accurate. Eventually, it will sink in thoroughly, and then you will understand. An ancient master, an ancient enlightened master once said, everywhere is you. Go east, and it's you. Go west, and it's you. Who are you? If you say me, this is called emotional and intellectual consciousness, which you must pass through before you attain realization. In ancient times, Vasubandhu asked Asanga, elder brother, when you went to the inner palace, what teaching did Maitreya expound to you? Asanga said, he expounded this teaching. Now tell me, what teaching is this? You must be able to discern it before you can realize it. Don't fix recognition on this. Many people have been fooled by the term this. That is why they speak of illness as if it were medicine. Therefore we say they are pitiful. So that is to say that This is not a thing. This is not something. This is not someone. This is not somewhere. This is not some situation. This is not some particular kind of experience. My path is a path of realizing suffering. I started to realize that I was suffering. And through realizing that I was suffering, I realized that there must be a way to not suffer. So I started to seek. I realized that I was suffering, and I realized that there must be a way to not suffer, so I started to seek how to not suffer. And that seeking on how to not suffer led me to Buddhism. And once I landed or connected with Buddhism, I realized that this was the strongest path that I could possibly make use of.
Nếu mà hôm nay nhá, một cái sự kiện diễn ra đúng không ạ? Lý do tại sao thị trường mình đây, hai người đi phát triển rất đông luôn. Mỗi người ra 5 người thôi, là sẽ bao nhiêu người ạ? Đúng không ạ? 30 người là đã ra 150 người rồi. Đúng không cả nhà? Thì cần mỗi người ra 150 người thôi. Nhưng lý do tại sao mình vẫn chưa làm việc đó? Bây giờ ngày hôm nay anh em không.
And I realized, well, this is one of my big realizations, that while it may seem that I am kind of defined by my actions, I am not defined by my thoughts. Thoughts just happen. Thoughts aren't mine. And instead of living in this way of constantly identifying with the thoughts that I have and taking myself to be thoughts, I decided to be aware of thoughts without being attached to them. And that, I won't necessarily say that that was originally like this profound wisdom or insight or true detachment, but I will say that it opened up a window, or it opened up a door in my life to start living a different way. To start living a way that wasn't based in what I thought about things, but my willingness to be actively giving, actively sharing, actively sacrificing what I held on to. And through that, I found that there is a way to transform suffering. There is a way to go from suffering to no suffering. And that path is realistic, accessible, and practical. And I will call it, as my teacher would call it, the path of doing all kinds of good deeds with mindfulness and detachment in all different kinds of ways, and being very open about that. Connecting with others on this path and supporting others to be on this path, not because it benefits me, but because it has benefited me. So it makes sense to share it. You know, maybe we don't understand what's going on right now. And if we can't be willing, if we can't be open to not understanding what's going on right now, the only thing we can be involved with is that which we already understand. So you completely limit yourself from going beyond your own understanding by not being willing to not understand. And that is also not being willing to have a direct experience of what is right under your nose and right in front of your eyes. It better get better. It's got to keep getting better because that's how I want it to be. Sadhguru talks about this. Sadhguru is a really wonderful teacher as well. I'm not always energetically aligned with him, but he always talks about this. Human beings have the highest capacity for imagination and creating, right? So you have the ability to create the self, the world, the mind, the state that you want to experience. But the current situation that we're in is oftentimes we're making nightmares. We're causing more and more suffering for ourselves and for the world. So how do we turn that around? How do we go beyond that? Is this not the real Google Translate? I cannot speak Vietnamese, but I'm very skillful to use the technology to translate. And also, I have an open mind and an open heart and many experience in different cultures. So I'm able to make use of the technology to communicate as deeply as people are willing to listen. You know? And this is what the Zen master was talking about before as well, is that we're in this compulsive activity. We're in this non-stop, stressed out, compulsive action and reaction. And you know what that means? We don't know how to listen. We don't know how to slow down and how to stop so that we can do integral work. So that we can actually put the boots of our sincerity, the boots of our embodied being on the ground. And instead, we're just lost. We're lost in compulsion. We're always jumping from one self-fixated thought or self-fixated pleasure to the next. And we're transmitting that to the children. And we're transmitting that to our friends and the people we care about if we don't make it a priority to step back and stop. And we can do that through song. Would you all like to sing a song with me? Want to try? Okay, so it's pretty simple. We can go verse by verse. And everybody watching at home, you follow along too, okay? First line of this song, and there's hand motions too. Breathing in, breathing out. Again, breathing in, breathing out. Next line, I am blooming as a flower. I am blooming as a flower. Next line, I am fresh as the dew. I am fresh as the dew. Next line, I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. I am free. I am free.
làm cho mới ở một kia đấy, đúng không ạ? Đâu chỉ lúc nào cũng có phải làm cho mới được, không phải nhỉ? Đến ngày hôm nay đúng
Welcome
phải
in,
đến ngày
Tyler.
gì ạ? Bởi vì mình tiếp y đây là mình tiếp mình định sự cái gì ạ? Giờ mình đến đây là mình làm gì ạ? Làm chủ đúng không ạ? Chứ nào như là anh em làm luôn.
Well, we don't know. And that's the other primary teaching, the number one teaching that I try to share here is not knowing. We don't know why those people are over there making that noise. We don't know why these sunglasses are on my head. I can make an explanation, but ultimately we don't know. We really don't know anything or everything, apparently. What happened yesterday? Mostly I don't know. What's going to happen tomorrow? Mostly I don't know. What's going to happen a few moments from now? Well, I'm already born. This body has already been born, so it's going to die, and it could die at any moment because it's already been born. Peace be with you, Brother Abraham, Brother Gibbs, or Senor Gibbs, or Monsieur Gibbs, or what have you. We don't know. So having enough bravery, having enough oomph, having enough heart, having enough body and mind, presence of body and mind, to actually say, I don't know. And that I don't know doesn't mean that you're going away from something or going towards something. It's a stepping back and it's a opening of, I don't know. But I'm curious. I'm curious about this situation. I'm curious about this experience, and a willingness to not put it into a box. To not put this situation, to not put our experience into a box of conceptual thought. Literally, specifically, directly, really, without strings attached, exactly as I said it. And that is a radical and revolutionary perspective, practice to bring to our lives right here and right now. Period. Nothing to do with me, nothing to do with you, nothing to do with what's behind my eye sockets. Do eye sockets even have a behind or a front? Etc. So this is really to get into the muck and into the mud of reality, or life as it is, life as it actually is here and now. Regardless of Jesus, regardless of Buddha, regardless of you, regardless of me, regardless of any story that you have about you, about me, about the world, about the past, about the future, about blue, red, green, yellow, black and white, etc. Infinitum. I am here. You can say this with me. I am here. I am now. I am home. I am free. I am here. I am now. I am home. I am free. I am here. I am now. I am home. I am free. I am here. I am now. I am home. I am free. I am here. I am now. I am home. I am free. I am home. I am free. I am now. I am free. I am home, now, free, peace, right here and now. Period. Home is where the heart is. If you're thinking about things, if you feel like you need to make a comment or you need to say something, just take your hand and put your hand over your heart. All the more reason if you're Christian. All the more reason if Jesus is there with you in your heart, then be quiet. Shut your mouth and put your hand over your heart and be one or be with Christ. Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. But for a meditator, we may close our eyes, step back from our involvement in the external world, become more aware of the body, relax the buttocks, relax the whole body and mind, relax the heart, relax the head. Just breathe and be aware, stepping back, breathing and being aware. Relax whole body and mind. Beyond thoughts, beyond someone sitting here, beyond good or bad, beyond right or wrong. In this way of stepping back and breathing and being aware, it's a natural. Even to say that, even to give a description or a guidance about it is second hand, third hand. Get it fresh, right off the press, right off the way that it already is, naturally, continuously, always, and forever. Money doesn't ask questions. Money is more like just energy. So make good use of your energy. Be generous with your energy. My religion is Buddhist, but my way is not anything in particular. I'm not about believing in anything in particular. So I'm a Buddhist. I'm a high-level Buddhist practitioner. As far as I know, I mean, that's what I'd like to be. But in terms of my way, my practice, my path, what's Buddhism? Is it a vial full of gold? That's basically what Buddhism is, a vial full of gold. And if you want a piece, well, take off the top, take a shot. But if you think that this gold is real, boy, do I have a deal for you. Is Buddhism real? Are flowers real? Are clouds real? Are thoughts real? Thoughts, clouds, flowers, and trees are impermanent. They're temporary. And they are temporary forms in, within, and through formlessness. The apparent form or the apparent separation of anything is just an illusion. Just in the same way that thoughts about my hand moving through the air may be there, but they're just illusions. The hand is just moving through the air. That would be the most accurate way to point to it. And so, in terms of object-subject permanence, that's an appearance. But the truest way of pointing to an object and a subject, or an organism and an environment, is interbeing. There's no real separation. The appearance of separation, or the tool of separation, is just something to be used. But if we attach to it, we are covering up, we're putting tape over our own irises. So I'm here to take the tape off of your irises for free, on a donation basis. And if you come and meet me here in Vietnam, you'll even get a piece of gold. Does everybody see this? People always think I'm messing around. What does that look like to you? That's gold. That appears to be gold, does it not? Please, friends, followers, supporters, students, fellow practitioners, please share your experience. Please ask any questions that you do have. Well, this is the wisdom point, or the wisdom teaching about stream entry, and it should sweep away the whole confusion about it, but it shouldn't disempower your intensity or your intimacy with the path and with the reality of awakening, right? No one can become a stream enterer. It's completely impossible for anyone to become a sotapanna or to become enlightened. That's the cold hard fact of it. Someone cannot become enlightened. That is the nature of the clarifying rules or the classification of a sotapanna. A sotapanna realizes that there is no one, actually. So how can no one actually become someone who knows no one actually? It's just ridiculous. So the sotapanna or stream entry formality, it's more like it's a contextual framework for living in spiritual community with a spiritual authority. Because for people, let's say, and we're kind of bouncing in between and through the spectrum of the relative and the absolute, but in a community, let's say, where there was the Buddha or a very trusted, enlightened person, right? And also, we're always approaching this from a framework of idealism. You're literally going to die. Maybe today, literally. Not figuratively, not as a teaching tool, not as a method. You're literally going to die, and it might be exceedingly soon. That's Dhamma. That's anatta. That's anicca. That's impermanence. That's a holy messenger. So, not from the framework of idealism, but you can imagine a spiritual community where you had a Buddha, a recognized enlightened person, right? So let's say it's a big community. Most of the people in that community are not going to have right view. They're not going to be enlightened because it's quite difficult, right? So those people cannot understand or really empathize with generally right view, or being in that position, because they're not in that position, right? So, if you have a spiritual authority that can say, hey, that person is a Sotapanna, that person is a Sakyagami or an Anagami, etc., then the rest of the community, because they have this great faith, can now relate to that person in a more reverent way. And that's very suitable for that person to be able to take advice and guidance from that person and to continue on the path. So it's more like a structure for living in community than it is anything else, and a monastic structure especially, which the Buddha was all about, which we as modern, 99% of modern Dharma practitioners have no experience with and no connection with, living in a monastic community, or what that looks like in the modern world.
Đó, cùng một là phát triển. Nên cái quan trọng là nó còn lấy từ mỗi anh em mình như thế nào ra sao. Ví dụ ngày hôm nay mình nói câu chuyện mình chọn là sự nghiệp rồi, mình quyết tâm cùng với anh em đại thắng rồi, nên có những cái buổi ngày hôm nay mà là những buổi đào tạo, những buổi giao lưu chia sẻ mà mình không cho phép bản thân mình có mặt, mình còn lý do là mình còn đám tiệc này kia ba ra các kiểu rồi anh bản thân mình mệt đau bố thì đâu có đủ thời gian để mà mình chinh phục được đúng không ạ? Nhưng mà nó sẽ không hết anh chị ạ.
Here, with me, some people probably see me, probably some people see me as a quasi-enlightened, in some way, a teacher, But my recommendation is not to do that, because that just sounds kind of weird. But my recommendation is to be here with trust and faith and openness and see what happens. See how your ego changes. See how your view or your approach to the Dharma and your approach to your life shifts. And if it does shift, and if you do get value from it, then that's great. And trust that shift and that experience that you yourself have. Otherwise you be here, this is not entertainment. This is not meant to be entertainment. And for children, that's like a law, or that's natural, because children are always super receptive, and their minds are so much plasticity, so they're always taking things and learning in. Children are kind of locked into authenticity. But for adults, for older people, we have to make in some way a concerted effort to be authentic, present, aware, listening deeply, to make use of this kind of teaching, this kind of practice, etc. So as I've said before, you're welcome and you're invited to be here as a supporter. If you want to make donation, if you want to support me in being able to teach and do this work, you're welcome to be here as a practitioner, someone who's being here and coming here and meditating. And you're also welcome to be here as someone who's a very deep questioner, or someone who's very deeply willing to share their experience, right, and get feedback. But don't be here loosely, don't be here vaguely, because it doesn't make sense. When I go live, regardless of how I act, I'm opening up my Dharma hall. I'm opening up my meditation hall. I'm sitting on a platform and I'm teaching the Dhamma as far as I can. So there's a degree of reverence, sincerity, seriousness that one should bring to this environment. And if you do that, and you really offer that and bring that in a realistic way, not just in terms you thought that, but that brings support to the other people here in this space, energetically, and brings support to me as well, to hold the space in a certain way. Sometimes it's just people leaving a comment or sending me an email on some of the YouTube videos that's like, hey, I got this kind of benefit from your message in this way, or whatever, really short and sweet, and that gives me the motivation and the energy to go live and to teach. Just that little bit of sharing their real experience. There are many ways to practice generosity. There are many ways to give donations. There are many ways to offer ourselves to a teacher, to a community, etc. And it's very important that you do that in this space.
Nhưng đừng để họ ngồi yên quá lâu. Ở Việt Nam người ta đã lựa chọn, người ta đến đây, người ta có quyền, người ta được thành công và biết rất nhiều ở đây.
And if that sounds off key, if that sounds inappropriate, please be generous enough to share that, share your understanding of that with me, so I can improve my own understanding of that, because that's now something I'm trying to work with. I'm trying to work with this notion of generosity, making donations, and how to kind of explain that and also encourage that in a way that makes sense and is amicable for all parties. So that I can support myself for the long term to continue doing this if people get that degree of value from it. I certainly get that degree of value from it, and I know some others do as well. But I'm independent. I'm on my own. This is my job. This is my livelihood. And if you get value from it, please make that known.
Quyết liệt thì mình phải quyết liệt, còn cái gì gọi là tất nhiên là mình đến với nhau là sẽ là xây dựng tình cảm, đúng không ạ? Nhưng cái gì quyết liệt mình cần phải quyết liệt anh nhỉ? Ngày hôm nay đến đây mà anh em cứ vật vờ vật vờ, cứ gọi là giống như cái việc là anh em cứ gọi là một bước tiến mà ba bước lùi, là có nhiều anh em một bước tiến mà 10 bước lùi vậy chị ạ. Nó rất khó để giúp cho mọi người thành công được, đúng không ạ? Nên cái quan trọng ngày hôm nay là gì? Mình phải có chế tài để thực hiện 1% mỗi ngày. Vừa rồi cũng đã ra chế tài rồi nhưng mà chưa, là nó đến từ những anh em đầu biết, anh em mà chưa thực sự quyết liệt. Thế thì ngày nay mình có mong muốn anh em đầu dốt mà ký ký chấp định trong vòng 2 năm không ạ? Thế thì ngày hôm nay mình hãy làm cái này đi. Chỉ cần 1% mỗi ngày thôi, em tin chắc là chưa tới 1 tháng đâu. Còn một anh em mình ở đây thì ít nhất đầu dốt phải phát sinh nha. Người mới đâu là phát sinh ít nhất là 3 đến 50 người. Nếu mà anh em xây dựng đội được nhau. Còn để mà từ đây đến cuối năm anh em có kiện còn á, thì qua năm sau là mình gọi cái nền tảng của mình nó không còn đủ nữa, thì mình sẽ gọi là gì? Lạc hậu và tụt lại so với những anh em mà người ta nghiêm túc và người ta có sự kỷ luật, đúng không ạ? Đây là mình phải xác định rõ cái điều mình sự mong muốn, rồi mình hẳn làm cái gì, chứ không phải là ngày nay mình xây dựng động lực mình có đi làm nha. Mình xác định rõ điều mình thật sự mong muốn khi mình đến đây là gì, để đi up live báo là ngày hôm nay có thông tin là đào tạo, có thông tin là sự kiện, và mình là gì, là người đăng ký đầu tiên và chữ vé đầu tiên. Đó là mình rõ điều mình muốn, bởi vì mình biết khi mình dám vào đây là mình sẽ đạt được cái điều mình mong muốn, thì mình sẽ là cái người dẫn đầu.
It's about 11 a.m., so another 2 hours before I can go to my hotel room and take a rest.
Mãi mãi mình sẽ không bao giờ được trong mọi lĩnh vực nào đó hết. Ngày hôm nay em sẽ rõ ràng với chị những cái điều này luôn, để sau này mình làm một cách happy và đi cùng nhau một cách nhanh nhất, đúng không ạ? Còn ngày hôm nay là gì ạ? Bởi vì mình chưa rõ được cái điều mình gọi là mình mong muốn, thì mình sẽ rất nhiều lý do. Đó, mà lý do thì nó không to mục đích.
But this, for example, for me right now, this is immensely peaceful. This is, if I had to classify it, I would say this is one of the most peaceful moments of my entire life. Of course, now describing it, that takes away a little bit of the peace, but that's the power of the practice and the path. Cold, sober, no sleep, sweating, sitting in a children's anime room in a coffee shop, live streaming, basically nothing. here with a community that is concerned with mindfulness and detachment and the path to ending suffering. Try to follow. Try to stay tuned. Try to stay connected. You can't do it by simply meditating because meditating is like MMA. Meditating for enlightenment isn't like lifting weights or trying to get up your endurance in running. It's like going into the ring with ignorance and attachment and trying to get a knockout, right? Or sustainably to win, to end suffering. So we have to have a coach, we have to have techniques and teachings, and we have to pay up. You have to pay. You have to sacrifice. You have to give. You have to donate. You have to practice generosity. There's no way to get around it. To willingly give up, to willingly give away what we're holding on to in all aspects, in all dimensions, in all ways. They love it. Vietnam loves me. Listen to them. Thank you very much, Usama, and that's a wonderful offering. But please do consider to donate through PayPal or bank transfer or really any way that's not on YouTube. YouTube takes like maybe 50% or more. So just to understand that. But yeah, exactly. But it's kind of, it's one of the negative aspects of it, but there's the positive aspect of being able to share our generosity with everyone else here as well. So it encourages other people to take this seriously and to be open. So What am I doing now? Well, I'm still, right? My body is being quite still. And I would say my mind is practicing like open awareness. So not fixating on any particular thought. And just breathing and being aware. And when I get pulled into something, like I want to respond to someone making a donation, or I want to point out a certain aspect of generosity being linked with detachment or self-sacrifice, go to that, and then I return to this general open awareness. So open awareness is the general of my way of being right now. Even though I may engage in this or that, I'm coming back to this place of stillness and coming back to this open awareness, breathing and being openly aware. I'm not trying to get anything. So I'm not trying to like work my mind into a particular place. I'm not trying to control my mind in any way. It's just a release and a relax of the whole mechanism of control. There's no such thing as a bad meditation. When we show up and sit and breathe and endure, like if my image, if my voice, if my practice of being live and you being able to watch that supports you to just show up and endure, even though it doesn't feel pleasant, then you're making very good use of this appearance. It's not about this being likable or pleasant or feeling good. The teaching is that this doesn't need to feel good to be okay. This doesn't need to feel good to be right. This doesn't need to feel good to be at peace with it, or to just be at peace. And you're very welcome, Calokin. If these teachings benefit and support you and you're staying connected and staying tuned, please do consider to make an offering, donation to the teacher. It's very much appreciated, very much valued and helpful at this time. And at any time moving forward. You can say hello. Say hello. Oop, oop, oop. Hello. This little one here. Choo, 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 choo. It has to be hot and heavy. So there may be, we have preferences. We like our hot and heavy to be a certain way. But the path and the practice has to be hot and heavy. There's no way to get around that. It's just that at a certain point, our generosity reaches its limit. Our capacity or our willingness to endure reaches its limit. So over time, your limit will expand, will progress. And you'll be able to endure more. You'll be able to give more. You'll be able to sacrifice more. You'll be able to ask deeper questions. You'll be able to share deeper experiences. You'll be able to share deeper answers, to questions that I may pose. But we have to show up and endure to deepen, the heart, to open the mind. We make a resolution to be serious about this. We say, okay, I'm actually interested and serious about this. And if this guy can answer my questions as far as I can ask them, if this guy can give me questions that I can't answer, if this guy can sit and be present and peaceful longer than I can make use of him as a teacher. And it's just a starting point, kind of like a frog. Once you can make use of the lily pad that's next to you, then you can start to make use of the lily pads that are farther away from you. So I'm happy to be here next to you in all my lowness and all of my ego, etc. And I thank you for being here with me as well. We can also exercise a deep and profound sense of gratitude for the way that things already are. Be as serious as you can be, with levity. It's easy to say it's play, it's easy to say it's all fun and games, but when you're face to face with sickness, old age, and death, when you're face to face with feces covered bed sores and extreme poverty, etc., that kind of presentation becomes a little bit more irrelevant. And it's already irrelevant. Everything is already irrelevant. So we're staying with the alreadiness of our willingness to endure, as serious as we can. We already get to be in our own homes. We get to be in our own environments. We get to be multitasking or watching this in our bathtub. So as serious, as sincere, as wholehearted as we can take this, all the better. Trust me, I'll take care of the levity. Next time I'm on live stream, you'll see me dancing on the beach, no doubt. But now we can dance in stillness and embracing the way that this already is. Goodbye. See you next time, okay? You be good. It was nice to meet you. B and Luna. Okay, bye Luna. Bye B. See you guys again. Take care. You remember the meditation, right? Okay. Enjoy, relax. No thinking, no thinking. So it's not one way. It's not a rigidity about how we, go along our path. It's finding out that everything is our path already, here and now. I will test your faith. I derail the tracks so that we can realize that the derail is also the path. Everything is to be used, to be experienced without attachment. Continuously, already, here and now. It's not about you being an intellectual, not about you knowing about Buddhism, not about you being an adult, not about you being a child. It's not about what you've done, it's not about what you will do. It is all right here and right now. And our own capacity to open ourselves to that which is already. Keep going. Not about anything, not about anyone. Not about you going anywhere. Not about you understanding anything. Not about focusing or not focusing. Not about breathing or not breathing. Not about anything in the mind or anything outside the mind. Not aboutness. Just everything that is already. And even beyond that. Okay? offer some chanting before we wrap up. This is a Medicine Buddha mantra. Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Teata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ranza Samungate Soha Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. May all beings be well, happy, peaceful, and free from suffering. May our practice of generosity, meditation, absorption, and realization of wisdom bring many merits and blessings to all whom we encounter. May we vow and devote ourselves not to hoarding wealth, power, or wisdom, but devote ourselves to offering it out in all directions. May the path be clearly and fully brightened out, and may we walk that path alone together. May it be, may it be, may it truly, truly be. Okay? Take care, friends. See you again soon.